Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Fiona Di Painto at Drawings in a Drawer, and on this channel we discuss everything watercolour and everything artsy really. So if that is something that might interest you, be sure to click on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. And today we are going to be talking about finding your watercolour style this year. I'm going to be giving you tips, and I'm going to give you a hint. The first tip is about watercolour sketchbooks. Also, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be giving away 2 watercolour sketchbooks. So stay tuned if you want to find out how to get the chance to win these watercolour sketchbooks, and also to find out how fast my style has evolved since I've started working more consistently in sketchbooks, and why. But now, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Recently, I took a trip to Scotland, which is one of my 2 homelands, and as always, I found it to be a huge source of inspiration. It's been that way since childhood. So today, my sketchbook spread is going to be dedicated to Scotland. I've been working to find my very own style for years now. I always knew I wanted to use watercolour's unpredictable personality, so to speak, to make my paintings look lighter and looser. I think that, like many of us in the past, I fell into the trap of looking at other artists' work on Instagram and social media. And while there's nothing wrong with that, and it is one of the many ways to find inspiration, it can lead you away from exploring your own style, the one that is truly you. There is the risk that obsessing over someone else's body of work will keep you in a rut when you are looking to develop your own style. You might get frustrated because your paintings don't look like theirs, and it will be a constant comparison and a very slow journey. I thought I'd found my style, but it wasn't until a few months ago when I set myself the goal to finish a watercolour sketchbook in a couple of months that I seriously started painting in one almost every day. And it was then that I realised that I hadn't found my style at all, not yet at least. Challenges aside, you will simply paint more if you paint in a watercolour sketchbook. I think it's the psychology of it closing like a journal, of it being so easily portable. You can carry it from your desk onto the sofa or into the kitchen, have it in your lap. Painting more means that you will see your technique improve faster because you will naturally become more daring and try new things like the dry brush stroke, or using salt, cling film, or other textures like sponges. More or less layers to complete a piece. And as you discover these things, you will automatically start to lean into what you like. And that, to me, simply turned out to be a huge, unexpected shortcut to finding my style. thought I was basically only into expressive portraiture, that was my thing. I knew I wanted to paint emotions. I even said I wanted to capture the soul, and I believed it. But now I know that what I actually wanted is to tell a story and to recreate a world of memories, of feelings, and this includes lots of other things, not just faces. This has led me to painting slightly more mindlessly rather than mindfully, which has made it easier for me to just go with the flow. So if you're up for it, set yourself the challenge to fill in a sketchbook or even only a quarter of a sketchbook within a date of your choice. And remember that watercolour sketchbooks contain thicker paper, which means less pages than your regular sketchbook. So it makes it much more doable. I had been wanting to paint a Highland cow for ages for my wall, and I think I would never have got round to it if I hadn't done it in my sketchbook first. This is my first Highland cow, by the way, and they're not very easy to paint. But now I want to say something important, almost a disclaimer in a way. Watercolour sketchbooks can be expensive, and the reason why I'm specifically talking about watercolour sketchbooks is because you need proper watercolour paper if you don't want to have a bad experience painting a piece. You can make your own watercolour sketchbook. I mean, I have. There are dozens of easy to follow tutorials online, and if I was able to make one, I am terrible at anything DIY, then you most definitely can, and this will be much cheaper than buying one. But let's cut to the chase right now. A new brand who are making watercolour palettes have reached out to me and they want to collaborate, which is wonderful. I'm super excited. And they are sending me a set of watercolours, but I also asked them for something for my subscribers. That's when I discovered that they have watercolour sketchbooks as well. I have checked and these are 100% cotton and 300 GSM. So they're actually thicker than the paper you see me painting on right now. The products are on their way as we speak, and as soon as I've received them, I will test one of each. One is cold pressed and the other is hot pressed. I asked for one of each, and I will be sending them out to 2 of my subscribers with my painting that I will paint in the video on the front page. So subscribe to this channel and keep following it to get the chance to win one of these professional watercolour sketchbooks in the next few weeks. I've waited this long and so far into the video that probably no one is even here anymore to say that I have Patreon and I'm also on Skillshare if you're over there. Even if you become a free member of my Patreon, so you join for free, you will get access to some free tutorials. I have just uploaded an hour-long video about watercolour consistencies, water to paint ratio, which is one of the aspects that people seem to struggle with the most when they start out in watercolour, but even when they're at a more intermediate level. So I walked you through that and you can access it for free, and the link to my Patreon will be down below, and to everything else. Also, you can subscribe to my newsletter for any freebies that I will have in the future. benefits of the Watercolour Sketchbook don't end here. Not only will you paint more, you will draw more. You will draw freehand. I tend to suggest that you should trace your sketches onto watercolour paper because it's so delicate that if you want to erase something, you will probably ruin the texture of the paper and the sizing that's on top of the paper. But when it comes to watercolour sketchbooks, it's really hard to trace. It's hard to use a light box. It's hard to hold them against a window. It has this double advantage. And please remember to watch my previous video about improving your drawing skills faster. People seem to really enjoy that one, and I'm happy that I was able to help some of you. As a matter of fact that my style has changed, and I find it much more satisfying since I started working consistently in a sketchbook. So I would advise you to do the same. When I got to this stage in the spread, I was very worried about the bleed through to the other side because I had my beloved badger on the other side. So I wanted to go for a very light pencil drawing on that page, but in the end I went in with some very light watercolour, and it's a sketchbook, so I could do it. And I think if I had been painting on a precious piece of Arches paper on a sheet, I would have given up long before. This is all from me for today. Thank you to all of you who have been liking, commenting, subscribing and saying such lovely things. I appreciate it so much. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.